I never know what to say when I get in front of this damn camera. Some days I just don't know. Normally I'd say welcome back to the channel to you guys, but I'm gonna say to myself welcome back to the channel because it's been, what, a year? Maybe a little less? I don't know. Haven't really done anything film worthy for it. Just haven't really had time or hadn't really felt like it. And don't worry, none of the project cars from before, they didn't go anywhere. The 67 Chevy, just sitting in storage. Actually, finally threw some actual Chevrolet seats in it instead of the, I think, 71 Torino seats that it came with. That only bolted down on one side and tried to flip you over every time you went around a corner. The silver Porsche from last year, still running. I think I got about 2,500 miles on it since we swapped that junkyard motor in it. It's been a good little daily driver. Back and forth to work, about 70 miles a day. So that wasn't a total waste of money. What else? Oh, the 52 Chevrolet truck. Alive and well. As far as what vehicles I've been working on, it's just been kind of just general maintenance for some of the family's collector vehicles. So I thought, well, today it's 97 degrees out, probably a tornado on the way, and I just sawed into the roof of a DeLorean. What better time to fire up the camera and say, hi! I guess we'll just start out with what I got going on with this thing here, which is a multitude of stuff that's kind of been forgotten about over the years. One of which being is a pretty common issue with these cars. It's this bit that holds the door up. These bust inside of here, and eventually the angle on this gets so pushed down that these pop off and ruin your day, and your door and your quarter fender and your roof panel and any body part you have between here and there. So something that's available to combat this vehicular ailment is this reinforcement deal that goes in there. Bad part is, step one is disassemble about 25% of the car, which doesn't look like much right now, but got these gaping holes in the ceiling which are much larger than what was required, but it's big mitts, and I gotta be able to get to the back side of where this mounts to get the threaded units up in there. And also, this is supposed to come off, but here's a quick funny backstory. This car has been in the family since 2002. Throughout that time, this door had to be replaced. The pulling tractor backed into it. I guess when you're raised on a farm and have a DeLorean sitting around, these are the things that happen. What I do remember is that when the guy replaced the door, he had an issue with the, I guess, a T-panel they call it. You gotta remove it so you ain't banging it up and the access hinges and whatever. I remember when he put it back on, he had issues with it sitting down flush to the underbody. So instead of doing the right thing and whatever that might have been, I have no idea. I just remember him using this very high-powered industrial automotive grade epoxy, and as he's squeezing it onto the roof, I remember him saying that I feel sorry for whoever has to take this apart again. Yeah, that's me. Well, per the YouTube DeLorean Repair University, you do have to remove this panel to get to the fiberglass underbody thing to access the deal, to do the drilling, to install the plate. That is stuck on there forever. Unless I peel it and destroy this panel, which is probably $2,000 because that's how it is. Well, these screws are moved down to where the guy told me to stop, which is there. And I'm thinking if I just jam a 2x4 underneath there, it should give me enough clearance to do what I gotta do without having to remove this. Of course, we gotta do this repair on both sides. This one isn't quite as severe, but you can tell, that's what happens. There's actually two things that hold the DeLorean door up. There's a torsion bar in there, which is more of an assist, but the majority of the lift right here. If it can hold up a building, it can hold up a door, right? Okay. So, what am I doing now? Oh yeah, we'll pull this off. Let's try to remove that. They say it calls for a 17 millimeter, which is also known as an 11/16. Great. Well, that's neat. Hopefully I can get to the back side of it through my gigantic access port. Oh, I can't get a wrench on the back of it. Oh, how fun. Which is really unfortunate because, excuse me, my lighting's horrible, but there's a piece of plastic that comes around here that all this screws to that has to come out. Only comes out if this is out, but seeing that it's loose as hell, maybe I can escape it past there. Let me see what I can come up with here. I'll update you in a bit, because there might be some cursing involved. Okay, well, that went better than anticipated. How are we doing? Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta see if these holes line up. All these, that hole, and that hole there. I gotta drill into the fiberglass, but apparently these two don't line up. I read somewhere, which is shocking. Anyway, let's. I'm gonna disassemble this thing and kind of do a rough fit, and then get the Milwaukee in there and make more holes in it. This 2x4 keeps creaking on me, which is fun. Okay, well, the holes do line up, partially because one of them is slightly oversized. Okay, well, that's cool. Kind of something like that. You can see originally it's just bolts on there, and it just gives it more of a area to grab onto so it doesn't break. I guess it's all really left now is just mark them holes, drill them, throw the bolts in, and then screw it together and get all this tucked back in before it bends and destroys itself. Alright, holes all drilled, bolts are in. Just gotta tighten them up. There we go. All done. Well, kinda. Got the new piece tucked back in there with the trim. Everything's all sealed up. And other side, same as this. Nothing too interesting, but this, although it looks kind of intimidating, wasn't really that bad. I guess all that's left to do is grind all this old glue off and put the screws back in for the quarter panel and a T-roof. Once that side's done and headliner back up, whichever. Yeah, the inside of this thing is a mess. Technically, you do not have to take the whole headliner out. It's a two-piece. You got this piece here, and then about there is just the back half. But when I put this headliner in a few years ago, I had one of the screws strip out, actually cross thread, go figure, for the sun visor, so it wasn't quite tight. And along with the door repair kits, I got new plates here for the threads for the sun visor bolts. Just gotta drill the rivets out and pop rivet a new one back in. So those will be tight. So the only painstaking part of that is the headliner actually wraps up into here around the edge and glues on underneath the weather strip. One side done, and I just gotta go on and do the rest of the stuff that it needs. Which reminds me, what else is that? Oh yeah, fuel lines. Gotta replace the fuel lines, feed and return, and all the individual lines to the injectors, because, you know, now being that the car is 44 years old, apparently there's been a pandemic or epidemic, whatever you want to call it. Fuel lines cracking, breaking, spraying gas all over the engine, and then they light on fire. I guess other than that, there's some frame paint up here that's peeled off. Gotta sand that. You can't really see it yet, but that's underneath there. You gotta sand that down and touch that up a little bit. These are the outer door seals that go on here in between, but they're shot, so I gotta get new ones. Just a lot of tedious gluing and taping and everything else. I will see you when this is all done, and we'll do some painting and some fuel lines. Alright, well, it's a few days later, and I'm going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. Still waiting on the repair kit for the strut on the passenger side door, and I realize I have none of my paint removal rust repair things here, so the frame's gonna have to wait. And I can't really put much together on here until I, get the other side fixed, and I'm just gonna do all that at once, so the hell with it, we're gonna do the fuel lines. These are a upgraded kit by Hell, which this probably will be, and I think these are all for the 6 individual injectors, and then some return and supply lines. I suppose to get started by taking off the old air filter box here. I'll be curious to see how much of this stuff's brittle, but considering a lot of it is original yet. Easy enough. It's kind of a mighty looking engine for the lack of power they have. Okay, well, the injector lines on this side look fairly easy. 1, 2, 3, right next to the spark plugs. And then there's this side. There's always an easy side and a not so easy side, and this is obviously the not so easy side. Although I think, how permanent is this thing? What does that do? Looks like a coil, but it's not a coil. Well, whichever. Alright.
Are you ready?
Alright, got everything out of here except for the injectors on this side, which I have yet to battle, but we have one brand new line ran, which is the high pressure feed side that runs down through all this into the fuel filter. Just connects up underneath. I had to pull the fuel filter down and pull the fuel line off and reconnect it and feed it up through all this. So this can be the first one that we actually hook up. I just taped it up so that no dirt would get in it through its travels. And then I think I have most of the lines here matched up to where they gotta go. There's a few oddballs here. These are all for the fuel injectors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is for something else. And then there's this line, which I have to do a little bit of research. This thing sits on a valve cover and vibrates while it runs. I'm not sure what it does, but it does something. But this is low pressure side, I believe. Don't quote me right now, but this is low pressure, and I think this line replaces this. And then I think you splice this off of here, and there's a barbed fitting on the end of this that this line is crimped onto, and I think you just slip this on here with this hose clamp and then slip it onto this solenoid or whichever. So now that we got this all figured out, I think it's time to go ahead and finish putting the fuel filter up there and mount it, and then I guess we'll figure out how to get these out. Let me update you. Might be tonight, might be tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. What do you think, buddy? Alright, well, fuel filter and fuel supply line is ran. I'm just going to tidy it up. It's connected to the fuel distributor, so that's good to go. And I did a little bit of research. This here, and I should have remembered, but I didn't, is called a frequency valve. So, being that this is on the return side of the fuel, it bleeds off excess fuel pressure, which it receives its I guess, frequency or readings or commands, if you will, from the oxygen sensor. I guess now we can go ahead and get this taken care of and slap it back in the car, and I don't know, we might as well fire it up before the thunderstorm gets here. No, I'm just kidding, it'll be storming before I get this done, but you know, let's give it a shot. Try to not cut my finger open and get the old line separated from this frequency valve. Boy, they weren't kidding, these are brittle. Okay, well, junk. Alright. Well, I think for now, I'll just leave them loose on here until I get it in the car and, you know, get it situated. So we got that mystery solved. Oh, duh. We got to take this off. I'm hearing thunder off in the distance, so that means one of two things. Either Doc Brown's going to come in here and kick my ass, or I'm going to have to go to the basement, which is up the hill. Because you never know nowadays. Alright. This needs to come off. Which I've noticed everything on here is torqued at 700 foot-pounds. Here it is, not to worry. That goes into here. And then that goes onto there. Alright, well, I guess that's how this works. When it finally gets set into place, then I'll tighten everything up so it sits right and everything. So, alright, let's get these lines in the car. Everything's all reattached, torqued, and ready for fire up. Minus the air cleaner, but it can run without it. Alright, well, let's get over here and prime it up, see what happens. Alright. It's going to take a little bit because, well, obviously she's out of fuel, so she's going to crank for a little while. Not a bad idea to check for leaks at this point. Oh. What the hell we got here? Yeah, kind of a big leak. Where's that coming from? Give me a second. Crisis diverted. Apparently I forgot to tighten the fuel feed line. Whoops. Well, nothing's leaking. I assume it's just a lot of air in the system. I guess at this point we'll just keep cranking and see what happens. Let's look underneath just to make sure. Well, it's kind of dark to see, but I don't really notice any fuel dripping. So let's just keep cranking on it and wait until it fires. Gosh dang it. You know what? I don't think it needs the air box. You know, it's not like it has a map sensor or anything like that. It just sucks fresh air from there. But, you know, only reason I'm leaving it off is just so I could get a better view at everything, make sure it's not leaking. So, well, let's just keep cranking on it and see what happens. Well, I know it's not spark because it's sparking. That's hooked up. This is hooked up. Well, I mean, all the back end's jacked up, but that should have nothing to do with it. It's got an electric fuel pump. Okay, well, I'll let it sit here and ponder on things for a bit whilst I cleaned up tools. I wouldn't toss the air box on it just because don't think it needs it to run, but whatever. See what it does now. Come on, baby. Come on. Alright. Things are a little cold-blooded. They do kind of this idle surge for a bit. It's kind of normal. Yeah, it's a little humid out. is extremely late, or early, I guess depending on how you want to look at it. Safe to say the fuel system is good to go. No leaks. It's running good-ish. Might mess with the air fuel mixture a little bit on it, just see if we can get some of that erratic idle taken care of. Well, that being said, I guess I'll see you back here when I get the passenger side door repair. I'll grab my tools and get the rust on the frame fixed. Then we'll go out and drive it a little bit. Okay, another night on the old DeLorean here. We got the passenger side door strut jam repair, we got the old this bullshit fixed. Now it's on getting the panels screwed back down where they belong, cleaning all that crap off, and then gluing these weather strips back on. I almost forgot we got to seal up the engineered access port holes there in the ceiling per Great Stuff foam. It's in the directions. Billy Mays here. He didn't sell this stuff, did he? I mean, sure. Alright, well, I am going to call it for the night. Let that spray foam tack up a little bit and sod it off. I guess I'll let it cure overnight and then we'll seal it. Got these weather strips tacked back on. The fenders are tight. The T-roof is tight. Everything is damn near all the way back together. There's all my old fuel lines. Anyone remember that? Probably not. So I think we will check back in when it's time to clean the inside. Got the front end scuffed up some, and I got some of them rusty parts. Painting up helped that preserve a little bit better. In some of the hard to reach spots, I'm just going to shoot some food film in there, a little something to help slow it down. Any of the surface rust, but nothing crazy, just a little quick scuff and shoot. Make it look a little bit better. Well, we're finally down to the last few repairs. Last night I got the headliner back in. These are just holding the edge here that glues up, kind of a filler between the ceiling and the weather strip. And I was able to remove this and then reinstall it successfully without wrecking the material. So that's good. All that's left is to trim a little bit of this material off of the headliner so that it doesn't sit in this tray and soak up water and water stain it again. I was actually able to get that clean. I never tried to get a water stain out of a headliner, but turns out just regular fabric cleaner with the clean microfiber and some hot water. Soak it, scrub it out. Pull some of the water out with a vacuum cleaner and let it dry. It looks perfect. Should have did before and after, but oops, I didn't. But take my word for it. Give it a try if you want. It's just this material that folds up and around, and yeah, there is some excess there. And she soaked up a little bit of water out of this grubby rain tray, door jamb box, gutter thing, whatever you want to call it. So go ahead and get that cut out. Slap the here weather strip back on and hope that I glued these right so that the door shuts properly. But yeah, all back in. Looking good and clean. Oh, I gotta put the dome light back up and then install the cargo net zip tie up a couple fuel lines in the engine bay, and I guess that's it. Pull it outside, and God, we gotta clean it. It may not look like it on camera, but it is extremely dirty. And here we go. We have achieved completion. Finally, I'm glad this repair is behind me. Although it wasn't that bad, it was a little intimidating, just messy. But she's done. The doors come up nice and high, and that's not loose and gonna fall off. And on this side, got the headliner tucked back in. Looks like it was never touched. That's a good feeling. Instant. Gonna go out here and give it a good run. Intermittently stop and check for any fuel leaks. There shouldn't be any, but you never know. Just in case there are. So far, everything's good. All I smell is old engine, no gas. Keep moving. Well, there, I think we got about an hour total run time on it. Everything's sealed up. Everything looks good. Running good. I guess we can call that a success. That's finally done. As always, thanks for watching and stay tuned. Coming up next is going to be that 3rd gen Camaro that needs a little bit of maintenance. So we'll take a good look at that and see what it needs and make it a little bit better. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time.